Yes, page 129. We are doing volume SD20, chapter 13, 20.13. Today we'll do two suttas if time permits, because both the suttas have the same name. Samana Machala Sutta, 1 number 2, the names are on the board. These two suttas define the nature of sainthood. In other words, what becomes of us when we attain a high level of spiritual development, if you like. Samana means recluse. Achala means unshaken. Chala means, so chala is like quick, quaking, moving. Achala means unshaken, untroubled. Buddhism is an ongoing experience. In fact, Buddhism, the Dharma, the teaching, is there all the time, since the day we are born. It's whether we notice those truths or not. If we don't notice those truths, then slowly feelings of then suffering will creep upon us. Suffering is how we look at the world. If we do not understand how to look at the world, then we suffer. And what is the world? The world are ourselves, our five senses, our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So see, mind also included. So in Buddhism, we talk of understanding the mind. So when we look at all these kinds of sayings, we're talking about the development of the mind. And to make us understand the teaching better, or easier to talk about the nature of the mind, the Buddha uses what is called the teaching model of the 4 kinds of sayings or 8 kinds of sayings, and also the 10 kinds of mental fetters, which are on the right here. They are all in your book, page 29 onwards, chapter 13 and 14 of the Sutta Discovery, volume 20. Now, the Samana Machala Sutta 1 is actually slightly longer than number 2, but the idea is the same. They talk about the 4 kinds of saying using very beautiful figurative language. Look at page 131. First of all, the sutta number is A487. This one is the first discourse on the unshakable recluse. So here, we have the Buddha saying that there are 4 kinds of persons in the world. Actually, these 4 are the 4 kinds of saints. So let's straight away read into this, page 131. Bhikshus, these are the monks. There are these 4 persons existing in the world. What are the 4? The unshakable recluse, that's number 1, Samana Machala. And then number 2, the white lotus recluse, Samana Pundarika. Pundarika is white lotus. And then number 3 is the red lotus. Actually, the red lotus is not totally red. It's kind of bluish red, right? And it's called Paduma, Samana Paduma. And then the delicate recluse among recluses, Samanesu Samana Sukumala. Sukumala, that means living a very easy life, happy life, but in connection with the holy life, the love of the saint, in other words. In other words, the true saint is untroubled. So these are the 4 kinds of people. Okay? So now, who is the unshakable recluse? And how bhikshu is the person an unshakable recluse? Now here I've given a subtitle, the 7 learners. The 7 learners are the 7 kinds of saints. Now here is where I need to explain a few things before. Otherwise I'll drink water. So the 4 saints. Okay? let me just briefly introduce these 4 terms, and then later we will talk about them in more detail in terms of the 10 fetters. The stream winner is the first kind of saint. Okay. It should be the goal of every living Buddhist. Because if you don't aim for stream winner, then the chances of you being reborn as a human in the next life are very slim. You probably be born in a subhuman state. So the idea of being a Buddhist is to at least remain on the human state. Because we only have a human body, but our minds are variable. Our mind can change. If we hate someone, our minds become like animal, ghost, hell being, whatever. Right? Become violent, you're like hell beings. So you don't have to go to any place to experience all these things. It can happen in the mind itself. When we meditate, when we're at peace with ourselves, then we remain on the human world, or maybe even go higher. Right? We don't have to go to heaven to enjoy heavenly bliss. When you meditate, you're at peace with yourself. And the great thing about knowing meditation and understanding the Buddha's teaching is you don't need any secret teaching. You don't need any magical things. All these magical things and so on, they are dangerous, and they have some very dark energies behind them, and you have to pay back the karma. You'll suffer with it. Whereas if you understand the nature of the Buddha's teaching, how to calm the mind, then you are like the eye of the storm. You know, in any storm, the tropical storm especially, the eye of the storm is very still. It's a few kilometers wide. And the storm around is very strong, the winds are very strong, very destructive, but the eye is very calm. Imagine, you are always in the eye of the storm, very peaceful, right? So meditation teaches us how to maintain that peacefulness, even if there is trouble around us. All of us we have problems. Even a Buddhist teacher has more problems because we deal with people with problems, listen to their problems, we teach about how to overcome suffering. So this is something we need to learn by keeping the 5 precepts. The first thing is to keep the 5 precepts. And if you're able to do that well, you try your best, and then this is where we have to come to the first 3 fetters. We have no idea of self, that this self is permanent. Thinking about I, me, mine. When you think of I, me, mine, then you will suffer. You say, somebody hurt me, or this person is doing this to me, I, me, mine, then you're going to suffer. So the idea is to let go of all this idea of I, me, mine, and deal with things as they come first, number 1. Number 2 is doubt. Doubt means, oh no, I can't help myself, I can't do this, I can't do that, I need someone else's help. And no one can really help us. All that people do is talk to us, tell us things, but we have to do things ourselves. Happiness comes from inside us, not from outside. So this idea of, you must not doubt yourself. In other words, you look within you, what shall I do, right? The kind of understanding that you can help yourself and not blaming people afterwards. So don't doubt our ability to be at peace, to be strong, to solve our own problems. That's the meaning number 2. And number 3, you see, is attachment to vows and rituals, or rules and rituals and vows. This is where we try to look for answers outside of ourselves. Right? Very often when we are in difficulty, we try to look for answers from other people, other things. We go to trees and worship and ask for this, ask for that. And it's all not very good things to do because they don't really work. Why? Because the problem came from inside us. The problem comes from inside us, then obviously we've got to deal with it within ourselves. So if we understand how we think, how we feel, how we talk, how we act, there the answers lie there. So look within ourselves for the answer. Not to be superstitious, that's number 3. Not to look for answers outside of ourselves. So if you can break these 3 fetters, the first 3 fetters, you become a stream winner. Okay? So this stream winner is this number 1, the unshakable recluse. So this person, his faith is strong. He's not very wise as the Arahat, but he is at peace with himself. As you know, if you are a true Buddhist, this is what you would aim for. This is what I aim for. And very confident in this life, I will become a streamliner. Not immediately, definitely at the end of my life. This is clearly stated in the 10 suttas of chapter 25 of Sainthood. Of course, I'm not in the habit of declaring, oh, I am this, I am that. We need not declare our status. There are some traditions, very interesting traditions where, as in Myanmar, for example, where some teachers will actually certify. If you go to them and do meditation with them, they'll certify whether you're streamliner or not. It's not as bad as being certified as a Zen master by some Zen teachers, of course. But the point is, well, I've actually met such people, and they're quite nice and kind people. And they're not proud, arrogant people. Of course, there are online some really crazy people who declare themselves to be arhats. They have their own websites. I'm sure we don't take such people seriously. The point is, people do not go around declaring they are sainthood, even if they really are. The point is simple. We do not know exactly the moment of awakening. It's just like when you pass your exam. The moment of passing, you do not know. You've got to look back. Okay, I've done all this right, therefore the answers are right, so I passed, something like that. Yeah? But there comes a point when you realize you are not. And it's not important whether you declare to people or not. The important thing is your life has changed. You are strong, you're wise, you're not afraid of death or failure or anything, or the 8 winds. So this is something possible, something real, something that we must aim for in this life. Simply by making an aspiration, in this life itself I want to become a streamliner. By all my actions, may I be at peace with myself. So he's called the unshakable recluse. A recluse is a holy man. The holy man is not someone who wears uniform, different hairstyle, or walks in a way, talks a certain way, or chant. No, not at all. Those are priests. A recluse is truly a holy man. It can be a layman, can be a monk, can be a nun, can be a laywoman. But this person is one of the 7 kinds of saints. In other words, you have the 4 saints. Each of them there are 2. Something like undergraduate, graduate. Okay, so streamliner to be streamliner, ono-returner to be ono-returner, and so on. Okay, who are the 7? So you have this graduate, undergraduate, graduate, number 1 to 7. Number 7 is the arahat to be. Arahat to be, not full arahat yet. So these are the 7. So these are the 7. They are called the unshakable recluse because they're on the way to awakening. Sooner or later, at the most 7 lives. So the sutta says, here bhikshus, a monk is a learner on the path, a learner who walks the way, on the path to awakening. Now this is not a yana, this is a path. Okay? These yanas all are later ideas. So this is the saying on the path. In other words, path is the mind. His mind is at peace. Walking the mind, practicing it. He dwells aspiring for the supreme security from the yoke. Sometimes we read the suttas, we don't see it, those keywords. Here the keyword is aspiring. A lot of people say, how can I ever be arahat? Okay, that's fair. If you say, how can I ever be a streamliner? Start aspiring. No need to make vows. You can make all the vows in the world. It might just increase your ego. But nothing happens. Your life does not change, your attitude people do not change. It's not very helpful. But here we aspire to streamlining. In other words, we say, by all the good deeds I've done, may I attain this goal. I want to attain this goal. In other words, may all my actions direct me in this awakening. It's a very humble gesture. You don't have to tell anyone. If you do want to tell people, it's fine, but to inspire them. Also to have that happy energy, to feel hope in this life. Next page. Bhikshus, just as the Kshatriya Raja said, anointed eldest son, not yet consecrated and confirmed, even so bhikshus, a monk who is a learner, one of the supreme way, who dwells aspiring for the supreme security from the yoke. So here we have a bit of language of royalty. So these 7 kinds of saints, they are like a crown prince. Just a matter of time, he's going to be king. Right? So the Arhat is the king. Yeah? So here, the word noble also means the same thing. Here, noble is, what the Buddha is trying to say is, you don't be born into a noble family to be noble. It's how you behave, how you talk, how you act, how you think will make you noble. So in this way, bhikshus is a person, an unshakable recluse. On a simple level, we can tell ourselves. A few weeks ago, last week, I think, we talked about the mountain. So we should constantly reflect when we have problems, maybe like a mountain. I'll be calm, peaceful, unaffected by what people say, by unhappy thoughts that come back to me. But it will be like a mountain, still, unshaken, happy. So you reflect that way, you push away negative thoughts. So this is to practice, in other words. No? Don't expect any secret teachings from any teachers, because if it is secret, you can never know it. Secret means ignorance. If you are ignorant, everything is secret to you. But if you have the attention and then the aspiration to practice it, nothing is secret. The secrets of Buddhism are revealed to you in the openness, calmness of your mind, in other words. So then you become, from crown prince, you become a king, if you like. Now the second kind of saint is called a white lotus recluse. And how bhikshus is a person, a white lotus recluse, samana pundarika. Now he is the wisdom liberated arhat. Yeah, putting a bit of big word for you. Here bhikshus are monk, right here and now, having realized for himself through direct knowledge, after attaining dwells in the influx-free liberation of mind and liberation through wisdom, that are influx-free with the destruction of mental influxes. Yet he dwells not touching the 8 liberations with the body. This is all technical language. Okay? Because we're talking about some very high-level definition of a saint. And it's okay, you don't understand a word here, it doesn't matter. This is the high-level arhat. But there are some things we can explain. For example, influx-free liberation, somewhere in the middle. Huh? Influx is what? Something coming in through where? Through our senses, through our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. These 6 kind of influxes are flowing all the time. We see something, we like, dislike, we don't care about it. We hear something, we like it, we don't like it. We think of something, we react in the same way. So we have to deal with all these 6 kinds of phones, so to speak. These are called influxes. Influxes into our being. We have to deal with what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we touch, what we think. So here the same normal trouble with that. They just let it come, let it go. Let it come, let it go. Liberation through wisdom. That's another kind of liberation. You free your mind through wisdom. Wisdom here means understanding the true nature of life. First thing you should know is everything is impermanent. Even the worst problems we feel right now are impermanent. They won't last very long. Few months, few years, then it's gone. Of course, the good news is then you have another problem coming. The problem is also impermanent. Well, that's life. So we just deal with it whatever it comes. Everyone has some kind of problem. But the difference is whether we reflect this problem is forever or this problem is impermanent. Yeah? Foolish people say, oh, my problem is forever. No such thing. If you look back at your life, you find when you're younger, so many problems. As you grow up, all those problems, after a while, disappear. A new problem comes up. The older we grow, the more tricky our problems are, so to speak. Yeah? But I can tell you, once you pass 50, your problems don't matter to you anymore. The problems are there, but you'll not bother about them anymore. That's a good thing about growing old. So if you think you have a big problem, then you're still young. That's good. But they're impermanent, okay? There's always a way out. So don't think, oh dear, this problem is bad, end of the world. There's no such thing. You've got to ask yourself, what do I do now? What do I do now? What's the right thing to do? Wrong thing, very easy. The right thing, you've got to think carefully. If you think right thing, then your future also will be bright. You meet the right people, good people, kind people, you'll be happy. So this is the saint. He's able to meditate. You've got to be an arahat, he must be able to meditate. But he's not the expert. He has not attained, number one, he didn't attain the formless jhanas. And probably he doesn't do kasina meditation also. In other words, no psychic powers. This is my understanding. I could be wrong, but this is my understanding so far. But this kind of a saint, he has cleared away all the defilements, but he doesn't have psychic powers, normal kind of arahat. The next one, the red lotus recluse, okay, he is the full-fledged arahat. The arahat liberated both ways. Here the words are all the same, except the last line says he dwells touching the 8 liberations of the body. The last line is the only different. Here touching means personally experiencing the 8 liberations with the body. That means he himself is able to attain any kind of jhana, and the 4 formless realms also. Sariputta Moggallana are like that. Yeah? So this is the full-fledged saint. And then you have number 4, the delicate recluse among recluses. This actually is the same as the previous arahat. Yeah? It's just that this particular recluse or holy man, his karma is so good that wherever he goes, people treat him well, and he's able to overcome any problems that come to him. So this is the highest saint, like the Buddha, for example, right? So let's look at number 5. And how bhikshus is a person, a delicate recluse among recluses. Samane susamana sukumara. Here bhikshus, a monk is often asked to enjoy robes, not seldom asked. He is often asked to enjoy alms food, a lodging, medication, and support for the sick, not seldom asked. These are the 4 support of a monk. Okay? Robes, alms food, lodging, medicine. So in other words, this monk, because his practice is so good, people respect him, and people are eager to support him with all these 4 basic needs. These are the 4 basic human needs: clothing, food, shelter, and health. Right? So very basic. Point 2. Furthermore, whichever fellow brahmachari he stays with, in other words, this holy man is so good and he's a true practitioner, wherever he goes, he stays with another monk. They often conduct themselves pleasantly towards him through deeds, seldom unpleasantly. And the next one is speech, thoughts. So in other words, through action, through words, even through thoughts, they are kind to him. Seldom unpleasantly. There's a bit of catch here. Seldom, that means it does happen, you know. Rarely. For example, the Buddha does feel sick. The Buddha does feel tired sometimes, rarely. But most often he is teaching the Dharma for long hours. So in other words, even the saints do suffer in a sense, but they are not troubled by it. They are not troubled by it. To be a Dharma teacher, we are also troubled by problems. But we don't trouble the trouble. What does that mean? Problems come to us, but we are not swept off the feet by the trouble. In other words, just say, well, we are not enlightened. You know. Some people don't like us, some people don't like the Dharma. It's obvious. It's okay. There are others who love us, others who love the Dharma, and that's good enough. Even if there's no one in the world left who love the Dharma, there are stories where these Pachika Buddhas or these monks who they themselves practice alone. Sometimes they go way high into the mountains, they stay there until they die by themselves. They do not want to get involved with the world as crazy. So these are choices people make. This doesn't mean that Buddhism tries to run away from things. It's just saying that if you see the world is crazy, there's a lot of trouble around you, you don't get involved, it's a choice. You're free to make. If you have the power and energy to help people, that's fine too. So, next point, number 3. Furthermore, whatever feelings that arise on account of bile, on account of phlegm, on account of wind, okay, these are different kinds of causes of sickness, okay? According to ancient traditional medicine, you can get sick because of pains because of bile, because of phlegm, wind, combination of this, or due to weather changes, or not taking proper care of yourself. Or you can get sick through assaults, for example, trauma. In other words, say someone hit you or you fell down, or through karma. But sometimes you can get sick and not know what's wrong with it. For example, one monk I know, he got a terrible headache and he went all over the world looking for all kinds of cure. He just couldn't cure this headache, including meditation. It seemed to work. So, it's karmic headache. So whatever happens, whether this sickness is due to the elements, or the sickness is due to weather changes, or the sickness is due to not taking care of himself, overwork for example, or through karma, they do not affect him much. He suffers little sickness. So this kind of people, even though they are sick, somehow you find they're still bright, happy. So this friend of mine I had who the Burmese teacher says is a stringman, a young guy actually. It's very interesting. So one day he tells me whenever I meet him, just call him to come and help. Especially maybe send me somewhere in his car, or even kind of help me out here. So one day I phoned him, and then he came. But then he looked really sick. He says he's going to catch a flu. I said, oh, you shouldn't have come. He said, never mind. I feel okay really. It's just this little bad feeling in me. I'm amazed. I said, wow, this guy is amazingly kind. Although, I mean, someone you feel like getting a flu, you don't go anywhere, you don't have to lie down, rest, Right? So, you find these kind of people, they are really saintly in that sense, where they're not troubled by their sickness. Now, I'm not saying even if you're sick, you must come for class, do your work. That's not my point. My point is, you know what to do. Even when you're sick, you find there's this happy energy inside you, and that helps you to heal faster. Helps you to heal faster. That's what the Buddha is saying. So he's like that. The saints are like that. Point 4. He is one who attains to and happily abides in the 4 jhanas, dhyanas. That is a very high level, very peaceful state, happy states. The higher mind, as he wishes, without any difficulty, without any trouble, in abundance. So this is the refined recluse, delicate recluse. He can get into jhana anytime. This is the full-fledged arahat. 5. Right here and now, having realized for himself through direct knowledge, after attaining, he dwells in influx-free liberation of mind and liberation through wisdom that are influx-free with the destruction of the mental influxes. This simply means it's a full-fledged arahat. So, then the Buddha declares, this last part, everything is repeated. What we just read, number 5, everything is repeated here. The Buddha says, okay, I'm also like this. These are the qualities I have. Right? Wherever I go, I can get the 4 supports very easily. And whatever sickness I get, I'm at peace with myself. I suffer a little. And I can attain jhana anytime I want. And I'm an arahat. Okay? So this is what the Buddha says. So, page 135, near the bottom. Bhikshus, if you were to rightly speak of the delicate recluse, you would only be speaking rightly of me. These bhikshus are, oh, there's a typo there. These bhikshus are those 4 persons existing in the world. Or these are the 4 persons existing in the world also can. These are the 4 persons existing in the world. So apparently the last one is the Buddha says it is he himself. No? You would only be speaking rightly of him. So the last one with all the wonderful qualities, the delicate recluse, that's the Buddha himself. Any questions on this?
What about other monks?
The other monks and nuns or arahats would be the number 3, the Red Lotus. Okay, so that is the arahat liberated both ways. Okay. The arahat liberated both ways, they don't have the knowledge of the Buddha, for example. Right? Sariputta, for example, often it's said to give the wrong kind of meditation to certain students who the meditation didn't work properly. Right? Of course, it's not that Sariputta is ignorant, it's just that he did not go deeper into that sort. So if you really tried, you could do it. Here the stories are telling us that the Buddha is the one who's really the expert, in other words. Okay? It's just like you have this professor, this doctor who is the top guy, right? And he has assistants under him who are also graduates, specialists. So the graduate specialty arahats, they know the stuff well too. But some final points, they need to consult the professor. Okay? Any other question? Okay, let's go on to Samanachala Sutta 2. This one is important because it talks about the different kinds of saints and how they get enlightened. Notice the same 4 types of saints are mentioned again. Page 137. This sutta is A4.88. Samanachala Sutta 2. Verse 1. Bhikshus, there are these 4 persons existing in the world. What are the 4? Or who are the 4? The unshakable recluse, Samanamachala, the white lotus recluse, Samana Pundarika, red lotus recluse, the Samana Padma, the recluse delicate amongst recluses, Samini Susamana Sukumala. And then the 4 are defined again. Who is the unshakable recluse? And Bhikshu, who is a person and how is a person an unshakable recluse? Here the definition is slightly different. These 4 kinds of people are the 4 kinds of saints. So here you see the figures of speech analogies are used differently. The unshakable recluse is the stream winner. Page 138. Here bhikshus, a monk having utterly destroyed the 3 mental fetters, is a stream winner. Sotapanna. Not bound for the lower world, sure of liberation, destined for awakening. In this way, bhikshu is a person an unshakable recluse. So, not bound for the lower world. Lower world means what? Animal world, demon world, hellish states, full of violence, and the ghost state, addictive states. Right? So we won't be caught in that kind of level. Right? Sure of liberation, matter of time. It's just like, in a sense, it's just like when we were babies, we had this inoculation, right? And so if you have inoculation at the right time, and the right kind of inoculation, you won't get that kind of sickness anymore. Something like that. So being a stream winner is like you inoculate yourself. You inoculate yourself so you never go below human state. Otherwise, we have a human body as well as human mind. Okay? So this is a stream winner. So in a sense, you might say, to be a Buddhist is to be human, to learn to be human. And if you can, try to be divine, joyfully happy. You don't have to go to heaven to do that. Right here and now you can. How? By understanding that whatever sufferings we face is, in a sense, helping us to grow, to remind us that something missing, something we still don't understand about ourselves. a weakness that we have. If not, we won't suffer. Because people can do a lot of bad stuff to us, we still won't suffer. You know, there are some people who are very unhappy with me teaching all these things. Because the more lay Buddhists know suttas, the less donation you'll give to the money monks and money nuns. The more you understand the suttas, then you won't do all those funny rituals, you know. And you know that lay people yourself can do your own ceremony. In fact, in the Buddha's time, the Buddha never said you must perform all this expensive death ceremony and all kinds of funny rituals, you know. Very simple. The other religions already overcome all these issues hundreds of years ago. The Buddhists are still living in the Stone Age, facing all these strange rituals, noisy teachings, and teaching which people themselves don't like, and they still perform it. This is schizophrenic. And we should somehow educate ourselves to grow out of this kind of unnecessary pain. We need to be human. We have to learn to be human. You see that if you live in other society, you find one thing you find, you are never troubled by incense smoke. Now, here you live in a flat, 7-month period. Wow, it's really hell on earth. All this burning going on, right? Right, it's there. In Singapore, you have to tolerate all these strange traditions still, because people are still superstitious. But with more education, this can be changed. Things can become better. Remember, to be human beings, to live now, to love people who are near you now, not to wait until they're dead and start praying and saying, oh, please don't go. And if they can come back, you'll be terrified more, I think. So this is where we should love the living. Treat them well, and when they are gone, they're reborn elsewhere, and we should be happy for them. So the stream winner is this kind of person who lives in this life itself, understanding the body is impermanent, and therefore he has great loving kindness for his family, because he's still a family man, you know? And he doesn't have doubt that he can do that. And he doesn't believe in magical things, finding answers outside of himself. He knows within himself, through his own effort, he can solve problems. Next one is the white lotus recluse. In Bhikshu, how is a person a white lotus recluse? Samana Pundarika is the once returner. Here Bhikshu, a monk, having utterly destroyed the 3 mental fetters, and with the diminishing of greed, hate, and delusion, is a once returner, Sakadagami, who, after returning to this world only one more time, will make an end to suffering. In this way, Bhikshu, a person is a white lotus recluse. So this once returner is a bit like the stream winner. Stream winner at the most got 7 more lives to go to finish off his karma. Maybe 3 more lives to go if he meditates a bit, maybe, or just even next life will get enlightened. But in the case of the once returner, 1 more life and finish up his karma. Why? Because he's able to deal with the 3 unwholesome roots, greed, hate, illusion, a bit more. He's a bit more in control of himself. He has less desire, less hate, less delusion. So in other words, we still can have some anger, hate, desire, but we can still be saints, first stage saint. We're not perfect, but we will never break the 5 precepts. No matter how angry we are, we won't be violent, we won't kill people, we won't tell lies, we won't get drunk, and so on, 5 precepts. So that's the once returner. And then you come to the red lotus recluse, number 4, brackets 3, and then the whole number 4. And Bhikshus, how is a person a red lotus recluse? The non-returner. Here Bhikshus, a monk with the utter destruction of the 5 lower fetters. So we'll come to them in a while, okay? 5 lotus fetters. Is one spontaneously born in the pure abodes, right? So you notice in the brackets I write it in for you. Spontaneously born, it means like a deva. Right? He's mentally born, not physically born. Due to attain nirvana without returning from that world. In this way, Bhikshus is a person, a red lotus recluse. So this non-returner is reborn in a world of himself, for himself, like a universe of himself, right? Very happy place. he doesn't need to come back here. But it doesn't mean he cannot come back here. He can if he wants to. But of course, it's very unlikely. Yeah? But he's happy in the pure abodes, because that's pure mental, very happy state. And he's overcome the 5 lower factors. Let's have a quick look at the 5 lower factors. So here you are. These are the 5 lower factors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have the 3, which is self-identity view, spiritual doubt, attachment to rules and rituals, or I usually use vows and rituals. What's the word in the book? Is it mentioned there? No.
There is.
Yeah. Where is it mentioned?
Page 136.
Page 136, okay.
36.
Rules and rituals, huh?
Rights.
Rules and rights, or vows. I think I use vows and
Rituals.
vows and rituals. Anyway, the idea is not to be superstitious, huh? And then, you see, notice the non-returner overcomes sensual lust and repulsion. These two, they go together. If you overcome one, you also overcome the other. Because this non-returner, he attains jhana. So because he's able to attain jhana, he is no more troubled by sexual feelings. He doesn't have sexual feelings anymore. He's able to be in full control of himself. Right? So it's the next step to being an arahant. That's the meaning, okay? But 5 more factors to go. Okay, this we come to the last of the saints. Practice 4, the recluse among delicate recluses. When bhikshus, how is a person a delicate recluse among recluses? This is the arahant. Here bhikshus with mental influxes destroyed, who has lived the holy life, done what has to be done, laid down the burden, reached his own goal, destroyed the fetters of being, liberated through right knowledge. In this way, bhikshus is the person a delicate recluse among recluses. Look at the words again. He has lived the holy life. In other words, the purpose of being a monk or a nun, he has completed that. He didn't put on the robe to do chanting, blessing, make money, become a venerable doctor, so on. Done what has to be done. Keep to all the Vinaya rules. It doesn't say, oh, I'm a modern monk, I don't need to keep rules anymore. Laid down the burden. No more karma. Right? He does not create new karma. Old karma, also don't trouble him. If the fruits do come back, it's not trouble for him. Reach his goal, his own goal. Notice, reach his own goal, not someone else's goal. Through his own effort, he has freed himself from suffering. In a sense, he's going nowhere. He's right where he is, but he has attained the highest level, or whatever the Buddha has taught. Destroyed the fetters of being. To live is to suffer. Like it or not. Yeah? Pleasure is suffering. Why? Because when pleasure is gone, we miss it. Pain, of course, is definitely pain itself. But when pain is gone, we feel good, right? Short while, for short while. And then it goes back and forth. That's life. So if you are a practicing Buddhist, you understand this, then this doesn't trouble you. Your body is troubled, but your mind is not troubled. So remember, although my body is sick, my mind will not be sick. Remember this. Then the fetters of being are destroyed, liberated through right knowledge. Through right knowledge, not through blind faith or some kind of priestcraft or certification by some masters, rituals. No, none of this. All this only hold you down to suffering. Through right knowledge. Right knowledge means your mind is clear of views. Very clear. So clear you can see whatever is before. To have views is like you have your car and your windshield is splattered with all kinds of dirt, you know. So you can't really see your way. So as you clear away a bit, then you see better, you can drive more safely. Right knowledge. Right knowledge is the knowledge that frees you from all views. Views are just momentary understanding of something. Views keep changing. So these are the 4 kinds of things. Now let me explain the 10 fetters. So these 3 fetters are broken, then it's the stream wind. Okay? And the number 2 is the ono-returner. He's able to understand the nature of the 3 negative roots, great head illusion a bit more. So it's only 1 more life to go. But remember, when we say 1 more life, that life can be quite long. It could be 1 whole world cycle, for example. Or even many world cycles if he's born in the higher realms. On the other hand, if he does deep meditation, he's overcome sensual lust, he overcomes hatred also. In other words, the 3 roots almost totally uprooted. Only 1 little bit root left. That's a root about selfhood. Okay? The desire aspect still a bit left, and that underlies this last 5. Greed for form existence. This is a high level of existence where the mind is like pure light, if you like. Okay? Those devas, the high level form jhana meditation realms. So you might think, oh, how wonderful it is if I'm reborn in a form state, so that ideal, not to be born there. You see, the danger is if you're born there, you'll come back to samsara. So that's the thing. So here, and another one is to be the desire to be reborn in a formless state, more refined, where these beings are not even the form of light, invisible energy, if you like. And then conceit. This is quite tricky. Even holy man has conceit. Holy man might think, oh, I am a monk, I know more than you, and what do you know, something like that. They won't tell you that, but still a bit there. Well, I've heard confessions, sometimes when monks I'm close to would tell me, oh, he said, my teacher, he is a good guy. Actually, once he confessed that he has a lot of pride also, something like that, So you know that in that sense, at least they're true to themselves and true to others. Conceit means measuring people. So, for example, I look at you and say, okay, I think I know more Dhamma than you. I know more suttas than you. You are useless. I can't understand it. And I'm proud of that, That's called conceit. Conceit is negative. It's measuring and looking down people. Okay. We can't help it because we are not awakened. The Arahat, his mind is very strong. He's at peace with himself. He has great joy. He doesn't need conceit. Anyone can go to him, a robber, a murderer, anyone who breaks a premises can go to the Arahat. He will still talk to you and help you. So it's like that, no conceit. It's not easy. This one, restlessness. Udacha. This one, even the great saints who are not Arahats can feel restless. Why? Because they see people suffering. And they say, why can't these people learn not to think foolishly? And why do they always get hurt? It's all to their own foolishness, Or for example, you might also think, why do people study suttas? The suttas are so important, Or why do people meditate early? Why don't they learn Buddhism early so that they don't get into trouble? Why do we always look for help when it's too late, for example? So we feel trouble. We want to help, but it's so difficult to help. That's called udacha. It's like you have so much care. When you care for someone, you also feel trouble. So the saints also feel trouble. When they see the suffering world, if you see the suffering world, you are kind, you definitely will feel trouble. So that's udacha. But a doctor doesn't feel trouble. The doctor sees a problem, he's very calm, and he asks, what should I do next? That's the Arahat's mind. It's very calm. Then, of course, the last one is ignorance, right? This one means not understanding the formable truth in its totality. So once you overcome ignorance, you understand the nature of suffering, the cause of it, the ending of it, how to end it completely. And you are able to even talk about it to people else. That's the Arahat. So those are the 4 kinds of saints, 4 kinds of recluses. And the sutta ends there. Any questions?
Can you explain number 5 again? Repulsion.
No, the factor number 5, repulsion, is it?
Yes.
Repulsion basically is some dislike. It can range from anger, showing your anger through dislike, to a sense of hidden hatred. You don't show it, but you know, you say, oh, this. Let's say you have a big temple and you're a monk. You say, oh, this guy is so poor, never give donation. So I think I would never look at this guy when he comes. You know? So something like that. That's repulsion. Yeah. So it can be very gentle to very violent. So the Arhat doesn't have that. It's opposite of desire. Okay. So possible is hatred. Any other questions?
One question.
Sure.
If we practice Dharma, are we aiming at stream winner or aiming at Arahat?
If you're a lay person, my advice is stream winner. If you're a monk, aim at Arahat. Okay? I can't answer like this 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Now after studying the suttas, I can quite confidently tell you these are two packages we have. Layman, stream winner, or one returner if you like. Whereas monk is Arahat or non-returner. So you have these two. They have to do with meditation also. Right? These are ideal states, of course. Of course, anyone can aim for stream winning, which is itself good enough. You know? Stream winning, you at the most you have 7 more lives. As lay people, why is it difficult for us to attain Arahathood? Number one, we have no time to meditate. We have two kinds of meditation. One is meditation to solve daily problems. That's the kind the psychologists are doing. You know, they are using it not for enlightenment, they're using it to solve problems. Problem-solving meditation, or we can call it mindfulness if you like. The other one is meditation for awakening. The one you sit for hours, regular practice. So most of us practice meditation to make sure our daily life is tolerable, we are at peace with ourselves, which is also good. This also helps us along the way, so we don't break the 5 precepts. So for lay people, we don't have the time or capacity of doing the deep jhana meditation. So Arahathood and non-return is very difficult for us, if not impossible, in this life. Number two, we are families. We still have strong feelings, we want to get married. If not, we want to make a lot of money, start a business, or even build a Buddhist temple. You know, we have all kinds of ideas. We want to be successful. Then stream winning is the way. Stream winning is just like an ordinary layman, but if you're a truly good, happy lay person, and you're on the way to awakening, 7 more lives at the most, and you will somehow consciously try to do the precepts. You will think many times before you do I wouldn't say before breaking the precept, rather you think very carefully why precepts get broken and you try to avoid it. So in other words, this ideal citizen, this person is really good and kind and caring person. In fact, I'm working on volume 42, Sutta number 7, it's called the Tapati Sutta from the Anguttara Nikaya, I think it's 55.1. There were two brothers, you know, they are streamers. So they live very happily together. They're so devoted to the Buddha. You know, they want to see the Buddha in Savatthi all the time. So they are chamberlains of the king. So they are streamers. And when they die, they became one returner in the heavens. So that's one program, one package you can follow. Yeah? So any other question? Did I miss out anything in this sutta that you need to not sure about in terms? Okay, not with any yet. This is just nice. We have one long sutta and one short sutta to go. I think 2 more lessons. And then the next book we're doing the volume on love. Yeah? What volume is that?
38.
Sorry?
38.
38. Yeah? It's Love and Compassion. It's a very wonderful volume. The volume they're getting more and more interesting actually. Volume 38, 30 onwards. Alright, let us close this session with a short reflection. Buddhist training is about living here and now, learning to understand ourselves right now. Whatever is going on is trying to teach us something. We have to be brave. We have to be strong. Ask ourselves, what do I do next? What do I do next? And whatever you do, always have goodness in your heart, that whatever happens, something good is waiting to happen in a matter of time. So right now we should keep our minds happy, peaceful, pure. Then we are better prepared for this bigger goodness that is waiting to come. Sometime in our lives, bad things happen. In everyone's life, bad things happen. But then all these are impermanent. The difference between a wise and foolish person is that when bad things happen, the foolish suffer more, try to hurt more people. Whereas the wise say, what do I learn from this? And through their sufferings they become wiser. They begin to understand that suffering is not good. They forgive those who have hurt them. And most importantly, we forgive ourselves. And then we move on. It's just like a seed. The seed must break through the shell of the seed. And then the seed breaks through the ground, or even breaks through concrete and the tarmac. And then the plant grows through the light. So reflecting in this way, we build up positive emotions in our hearts and minds. This is what the Buddha teaches us, to fill ourselves with loving kindness. By the power of such thoughts, may we be blessed with happiness in this life. May we overcome our suffering. May we be at peace with ourselves. When we meditate, may we quickly come to focus. And by all these good deeds we have done, our faith and rituals, our practice of the precepts, our generosity, and various other good deeds, but above all these good things, may we attain spiritual liberation, especially stream winning, in this life itself. In this peaceful moment too, let us send out our loving kindness to all those people who are important to us, wishing them all well and happy. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.